Hey, it's Wind. Welcome to my channel. And this is my very first voiceover for any speed paint. So for today's speed paint, I am mostly experimenting with new brushes than usual. I usually use round brushes, but today I'm using RBGA. Okay, I will show an image of the brush on screen. So I usually start my drawings off with a sketch, which means, lines and stuff. But I recently found a art YouTuber called Shal.E, SHAL.E, a Korean artist, and I realized that I followed this person's art, but I didn't know who the person is. But anyways, so I watched his video and I found out that he draws with shapes first and then lines later, and I thought, wow, that's really interesting and it sounds liberating in a sense, because lines scare me. So I decided to do the same thing in this video. I decided to start with the shape first, the lines later, and let's just say it was interesting and also kind of a disaster because it initially demotivated me. Of course, you gotta trust the process, but my character came out looking a little weird, which is expected because I usually use the lay-in taught by Angel, which is using a cube and then drawing in the rhythm lines and stuff like that to inform you your facial features. But in this one, I just drew a cube and then I just kind of did it. So as you can see, I'm adjusting all the face features and just trying to see how I can use the brushes to achieve a look that is similar to what I usually do. At some point, I realized something really cool about this set of brushes, even though technically I only used 2 of them. One of the brushes, when shrunk to its really small size, reminds me of Waloop's like metal brushes. I won't say metal brushes, but just the way he draws metal in his artwork. I was really excited when I found that because I was like, oh, I can make it looked kind of like what he did, and I'm really big fan of his work. So I tried to use the brush and kind of like imagine maybe that's how he would do it and how I would like it to look on my character. So basically just draw the circle with the brush and shade a little bit. Of course, it doesn't look exactly like metal because I really wasn't too focused on that. I just really wanted the focus to be on the face itself. Later on, you'll see me drawing the jewelry on the chest as well, because the reference that we used, as you can see, today's reference is from Pinterest. If anyone can tell me the original model, I would happily cite the model inside my description, but for now, I'm gonna leave the Pinterest link that I used. So now I moved on to the clothing. As you can see, there's like red stuff in the background. Initially, I had some idea to draw a dragon of some kind as a companion, but I felt a little unqualified and it probably would have stressed me out and kind of like split my concentration. So I decided, okay, let's go with smaller sidekicks. So maybe a dragon's tail and another smaller creature. As for the background that you can see, it's greenish. There's like 2 tall buildings. I was mostly inspired by the loading screen of Genshin because I have been playing Genshin for quite a few months now, and I don't know why when I was drawing this, I really wanted the image to be kind of oppressive. So I wanted big tall buildings that would feel like it's suffocating you, but at the same time I don't want it to be too fierce because I really wanted that like open space feeling. So I decided with tall buildings that are relatively spaced out, just like the loading screens in Genshin Impact, and then I went with a lighter color, which like a greenish with a bit of gray and stuff like that. cinnamon green, I don't know, I call it green. So now I'm mostly cleaning up the body of the the drawing. At some point I realized that my perspective of the body was wrong, and that's when I tried to adjust the accessories so that it gave an illusion that it was correct, but honestly I wouldn't know because I'm still learning how to shade properly, which is fine, I guess. So you also can see me experimenting with colors and how to represent certain things, because I have a tendency to hyperfixate on details very much. So in this image, I'm mostly trying to not hyperfixate on it, which means drawing from afar rather than too close. You also see me experiment with some small things in the background, but honestly, they're not gonna last because at some point I'm gonna be like, I don't like it, I'm gonna remove it, which is something I had to learn. I used to be very precious with everything I draw, and to some extent I still am, but I really try not to be, because a good drawing is multiple iterations in that sense. Now you see me further polishing the background. At some point I realized that the two tall buildings were really similar, so you see me adjusting the angle because I thought, okay, maybe if I made it the same tilt as the character, it'll be more dramatic, but it made me dizzy. So I decided to go for a straight one, like a straight upwards. And then I changed the building in the far background because I figured, okay, it's further, it should be a little less detail, it should be a little bit foggy, that you can't really see much detail. And yeah, the yellow parts on the character now that you see are just reminders for me of where I perceive the light source to be coming from, which became problematic as I was editing. More like I was drawing halfway and I realized, oh, because of the way I drew the yellow, I kind of misunderstood the lighting. I thought it was coming from the back rather than the front, which would inform the lighting in the background. And honestly, I don't think it matters that much. So now we'll move on to the sidekick. So initially I drew a bear instead, but I got some feedback from it from my friends, and I realized that yeah, the bear is not right. So not that bears are not right, but the way I drew the bear wasn't very nice because it felt like it didn't fit into the picture. So I changed to the cat because I love cats and I draw a lot of cats in my free time, especially like when I was young. So yeah, I don't know what you want me to say, I love cats. So I gave the cat a circle thing because I was like, it's too boring. The maid is kind of brown, the cat is brown, and I want something a little more interesting, so I decided to add that pink that I initially used to draw in the lines of the human figure, you know, like where the clothing should be and stuff like that, and I incorporated that into the circle. Then later on, as you can see, I'm drawing a mouse. It's supposed to be a bomb, but I couldn't decide how I wanted it to be. So in the end, I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna draw an X on his butt. I'm gonna add some like colors to show as though it's like a bomb, because I really love Klee from Genshin Impact, and her love for bombs is really contagious. I don't mean it in an inappropriate way. I mean, like, you know, Klee with her jumpy bombs are really so cute. Okay, whatever, I'm doing a hole here at this point. So I polish and add a little bit of lighting, move the cat a little bit, and I hoped for the best. And then now, the worst part, the biggest fight that I have, which is drawing the hands and the sword. I've never drawn a sword before. I always struggle to draw a hand, so I don't know why I decided to take on this challenge, but I did, so I had to suck it up and draw the hand. And you'll see me focus on the hand for quite a long time, deciding, is this the correct angle? At the end, I decided I should just take a picture of myself holding something, in which, in this case, I held my stylus. And I took a photo of it with my phone and I tried to draw it, and I would say it didn't go too well because a pen is only so thick, but a katana or a sword handle, it's much thicker, so the way you grip it will look different. So I had to kind of improvise. As you can see, you'll see the hand go through a lot of phases, the sword as well, shifting and stuff, but in the end I got to a point where I'm like, yeah, it don't look too hard and it doesn't look too bad. You know? So I shift a lot and stuff like that. I would say that foreshortening is definitely not my forte. I struggle a lot with that. I honestly still don't even know if the sword is right, even after so many edits to it. So if anyone out there is really good at drawing swords, foreshortening, hands, you can give me some advice, go ahead. Just tell me in the comments. Don't be shy, you know, it's not gonna hurt my feelings too much. I don't mind, basically. So if you didn't notice, my background, well, you can't really see it now, but at some point I changed my background and I don't even notice it until now. That one of my buildings I added a Ferris wheel and I really like that. I just wanted to point it out. And yeah, so enjoy watching me shift and get confused for the next few moments. At some point it looked like a walking stick, doesn't it? Yeah, it really did. I just gave up on realistic swords. I did search on Google for references, but it seems like katanas are often held with two hands. I don't know. Even when I was drawing Ayaka, I never drew her sword. So if I did, maybe that would have helped, but oh well, it's always good to try new things, right? I added a keychain to the chain on the belt and I wanted a cat because I thought, okay, she has a cat sidekick. And then at some point, when you see me darken the image, it's usually when I'm like, okay, I think it's done, I'm gonna do the polish that I'm doing. So I tend to add a multiply layer to put the entire image in a certain color. So I feel like it unifies and gives it a little bit more mood, so to speak. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then I add some light because I really like it when characters pop out from the background. So I add a light outline around the character, even though I often don't do line work at all. If ever, I don't think I ever did line work in a very long time. And then I added some patterns to her leather parts, pleather, I don't know. Because I thought, oh, interesting to add texture. Everybody says I should add some texture, so I do. Whether it's effective is another thing. I don't know. And then I think at this point I just add some specks, you know, like noise. I prefer like using brushes. So yeah, there you have it. I hope you enjoy. Subscribe and like if you want to watch more, and follow me on my social media. And yeah, you can find all the links in the description, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!